What if I told you that a play you'll always remember is a play they can't forget? ESPN Films presents a 30 for 30 film about the ethical issues of the Not Top 10. Why not?
We chose to interview Mike Mobley because he is able to provide insight into the media's intentions, and he is very knowledgeable about the way the media affects athletes that he has worked close to in the past.
When ESPN chooses to use a player on the Not Top 10 and repeats the play, they are agenda setting and choosing how viewers perceive certain athletes. The cultivation theory states that individuals develop, or cultivate, an illusory perception of reality based on the most repetitive and consistent messages of a particular medium. So when a viewer sees a play on the Not Top 10 for multiple weeks, they may perceive a great athlete as a poor one, and it can affect multiple aspects of the athlete's life, like public attention, contracts, and endorsements.
The Not Top 10 is that it somewhat rewards fans' idiotic behavior. Fans see these videos on ESPN and everyone's laughing and everyone's having a good time. They put it on a pedestal and it's something hilarious and great. It really isn't demonized the way it should be. It's made out to be a joke and it's fun and everyone's having a great time watching it. Just, first of all, it can ruin a game in itself because if a fan runs across the field at a pivotal time of the game, that could completely ruin what's going on and just have a terribly detrimental effect on the sport event itself. Like this could cause major injury to the fans. Like the video of the guy running on the speedway, if you get hit by one of those cars, that is an enormous liability for the team, and that's just something you can't have. And it's incredibly unsafe. And there's no good that comes from stuff like that. And the Not Top 10 has a way of amplifying that and making it much more common, I think.
It is one thing to be embarrassed because a couple of fans at a game saw you make a huge mistake, and hopefully you can shake it off. What if the entire country could see you make the biggest mistake of your athletic career? Minor league game, which is only broadcasted to the local television station, was not going to receive any national media attention until this pitcher threw an intentional walk-off, as ESPN calls it. Now this pitcher is worried about everyone in the nation laughing at his mistake.
People have the right to own their own land, but that doesn't mean they can do with it whatever they want just because they own it. They have an obligation to do nothing that's illegal or anything that's harmful to other people, and I think this is very applicable to the ESPN situation, because even though ESPN does own that channel, and they do own the broadcast rights, they have the right to own that channel, but they have an obligation to the fans, to the athletes, to everyone involved, to be considerate of their image and of the person they are, and to not do anything that will purposefully harm them. I think ESPN knows what they're doing, but they're just people that know how much their viewers are enjoying it, and so they're disregarding that.
Sportsmanship and fair play are terms that are associated not just with the athlete, but everyone in a sports setting. This includes the media and SportsCenter. We preach these terms to younger athletes and penalize them for not following the rules. The media has an obligation to respect all individuals in the competitive sports environment. However, SportsCenter mocks athletes and ridicules them on a weekly basis. They do not do so solely with college and professional athletes, but athletes of all skill levels. College and professional athletes put themselves on display for the nation to see, but high school athletes do not. This high school athlete should not be the butt of SportsCenter's joke. SportsCenter covers many ethical dilemmas in sport, but the hypocrisy of their unsportsmanlike conduct towards younger athletes should not be tolerated. The circus theme music played during the Not Top 10 objectifies these athletes that have worked so hard to get to where they are today. It makes it seem as if they are purely here for our entertainment, and when they fail on the field, we should just sit back, laugh, and enjoy the show. Stephen Tulloch, a linebacker for the Detroit Lions, found himself to be a lion in SportsCenter circus after tearing his ACL when mocking Aaron Rodgers after a sack. If you ask any athlete or fan, they will tell you that no one deserves to be ridiculed or mocked after going down with any kind of injury, especially one that's season-ending. However, it was showcased for months on SportsCenter's Worst of the Worst.
Failure creates competitive anxiety. When a player fails, they fear failing repetitively, which affects their ability to perform. A perfect example of this is IK Kim. She is a professional golfer who lost a major championship on the LPGA Tour by missing an easy putt from just a foot away from the hole. The missed putt found its way on the Not Top 10. Since making the Not Top 10 in 2012, IK Kim has not even come close to winning another major championship.
It is not fair for private civilians to be featured on Not Top 10. If a fan is at a sporting event, he or she can expect the people in the stands around them to see them, or for his or her actions to be on a jumbotron. But it is different when there are ESPN reporters mocking you on national television because of your behavior. This gentleman at a UConn women's basketball game brought a sign to wish the head coach, Gino Auriemma, a happy birthday, and unfortunately spelled his name wrong. Instead of only a few people around him noticing his mistake, the entire country could see what he had done. Private civilians should not be publicly scrutinized on national television, because they are not there to be on TV and shouldn't have to worry about that possibility.
I don't know, making fun of fans, yeah, I mean, that maybe, that's a little bit more over the line than making fun of things that actually happen in the event, but I think it comes and goes, you know, as long as somebody's not on there for like 25, 30 straight weeks, that's the only thing that I could see would have maybe a little bit more of a lasting effect.
Bakari Rambo played here for the University of Georgia, and in 2012 he was featured on ESPN's Not Top 10 because he attempted and failed to pick up a cheerleader's flag and run onto the field with it after the Florida game. Rambo reportedly forgot about the incident until a week later when he and his teammates were watching SportsCenter and he was featured as number 7 on the Not Top 10. His teammates didn't even realize it had happened until they saw the clip. Brandon Smith, a cornerback, said to a reporter when asked about Rambo's mistake, he said the wind was blowing. That's what he was blaming it on, the wind. I don't buy that. I guess he just couldn't handle the flag. That's all it was. Athletes take ragging from their teammates all the time, but his teammates would not have even known about the incident if it hadn't been featured on Not Top 10.
I will say is, if there's anything about the Not Top 10 that I think is unfair, it's that at the end of it each week, they have a running one that's like the best of the best, or the worst of the worst, I guess, in this instance. You know, I could see where if you're Mark Sanchez and you see, you know, the butt fumble for 28 straight weeks, that's the one that comes to mind. I mean, the whole term butt fumble, is you hear that and you think of Mark Sanchez now. That I could see as being construed as a little bit more mean-spirited.